Good morning, students. Students, today I am going to discuss about the next mode of reproduction, and this is sexual reproduction. Students, as you all know that sexual reproduction is a mode of reproduction in which two sexes, namely male sex or female sex, are directly involved. Means, in another words, we have to say that it is a mode of reproduction in which two parents, or if two parents are not involved, so directly we can say that it involves the fusion of two gametes produced by male sexual organ and female sexual organs are involved. Okay, so here we have to say that in this type of reproduction, the two different sexes, male sexes and female sexes, are involved, and they are producing uh, two different types of gametes. Suppose there is a male sexual organ, so male sexual organ or male sexual unit will produce male gamete, which is commonly called as sperm, while the female sexual unit will form the female sexual gamete, which is commonly called as either ova or ovum or ovule. ठीक है. So initially what happens, the male sexual organ forms the male gamete, while the female sexual organ forms the female gamete, and sexual reproduction involves fusion of these two gametes. Means the male gamete will fuse with the female gamete and it will form zygote, and zygote finally will develop into embryo, and the embryo will produce new offspring. ठीक है. So I think the concept is clear what is sexual reproduction. Now I am coming to the next point. What is the significance of sexual mode of reproduction? तो क्या फ़ायदा है सेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन का, क्या सिग्निफिकेंस है, वाई द सेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन ओवरकम फ्रॉम asexual to sexual. So there are various benefits or various significance of this mode of reproduction. The sexual reproduction promotes diversity of characters in the offspring. Now you are observing a variety of species are around you. ठीक है, कई सारी वैरायटीज़ हैं. ये सारी वैरायटीज जो इवॉल्व हुई हैं, दिस इज़ ओनली एंड ओनली ड्यू टू द सेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन. ठीक है, वाई? बिकॉज इन सेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन टू डिफरेंट गैमेट्स आर कमिंग टुगेदर एंड दे आर फ्यूजिंग एंड देन दे आर प्रोड्यूसिंग ए न्यू ऑफस्प्रिंग. ठीक है, सो fusion of two different gametes brings fusion of two different types of genes, or it is responsible for the new combination of the genes. ठीक है, and it increases the it increases the concept of genetic variation. Means when two different types of genes are coming from two different parents, so definitely they will present in their offspring, and their offspring will be quite different from their parents. ठीक है, so this is called genetic variation, and this is only possible due to the sexual reproduction. अच्छा, when variations are coming and coming and they start to accumulate, तो sometime एक ऐसा टाइम आता है कि when the variations are too much and it can cause origin of a new species. ठीक है, so the sexual reproduction is responsible for speciation too. Speciation means evolution of a new species from a pre-existing species. ठीक है, and the sexual mode of reproduction incorporates process of combining DNA from two different individuals during reproduction. So in this way we can say that it also helps an organism to adapt itself according to the changing environmental conditions too. ठीक है, so these are some significances. Now I want to show you one pictorial graph. Here in the graph you can see that asexual reproduction हो रहा है, a generation is A. ठीक है, then since we know that asexual reproduction में एक ही parent involved है, and then it is producing its next generation. ठीक है, generation organism. Now it produces generation 2, then it produces generation 3, so on. It will produce generation D, E, F, G, H, and you will finally find out that the hereditary characters remain the same from one generation to the next generation, because only a single parent is involved. तो वेरिएशन आने के चांसेस बहुत रेयर हैं, तो all the offspring will be identical or genetically similar. While here in the sexual reproduction you are observing there are two parents or two individuals, individual A and individual B. They mate and produce. ये उनके बीच में रिप्रोडक्शन हो रहा है, सेक्स हो रहा है. ए विल प्रोड्यूस मेल गैमेट, फीमेल बी विल प्रोड्यूस फीमेल गैमेट, एंड दे विल फर्टिलाइज्ड एंड फॉर्म जाइगोट, एंड जाइगोट विल कन्वर्ट इनटू सी. तो ये सी बना रहा है, तो नए कॉम्बिनेशन के साथ बनेगी. सिमिलरली सी इज गोइंग टू मैरी विद डी. the mating is taking place, sex is taking place, and they are producing E. So E will be quite different from C, D, A, and B. Similarly, E is marrying with F and producing offspring G. So G will be the genetic character of the G will be quite different from E, F, D, C, B, and A. All of them. Okay, it means hereditary characters vary from one generation to next generation. So this is the pictorial graph which is showing that how the genetic combination changes in case of sexual reproduction. Now I am coming to the point, sexual reproduction in flowering plants. So students, I want to tell you that flowering plants, all the plants which you are observing around you, all the plants which are having flowers, तो ऐसे सारे plants जिनके पास की flowers होते हैं, they are considered as angiosperms. As we studied in class 9th, what are angiosperms? Angiosperms are the plants which are having flowers. All the flowering plants of kingdom plantae are considered as angiosperms. And basically we have to talk about only the sexual reproduction in angiospermic plants, so or flowering plants. So I will not discuss how the sexual reproduction takes place in Thallophyta, Bryophyta, Pteridophyta, and Gymnosperm. I am only talking about the sexual reproduction in flowering plant or angiosperm. So I want to tell you that the sexual reproduction in flowering plant takes place inside the flower. So flower is a basically sexually reproducing organ in case of the plants. As we know that the flowers has different parts. Out of these parts, the stamen and the carpels are also called as pistil, are basically considered as the reproductive organ of the flower. The stamen are the male reproductive organs and is responsible for production of male gamete, which are also called as pollen grains, while the pistil or carpel is referred as or considered as the female reproductive part, and it is responsible for female gamete production, which are called as ovules. Okay. Finally, the pollen grain fertilizes the ovule and the formation of zygote takes place. Now, finally, this zygote, fertilized ovule or zygote, converts into seed and produces a new plant. Okay, so this is the mode where sexual reproduction of flowering plant can take place within the flowers, where the male gamete fuses with the female gamete. Okay, we have to discuss it in brief later on. So today I am concluding myself. I hope so the topic which I discussed today you understood very well. If still you are feeling any difficulty, you can concern with me. Till then, thank you, bye bye, and have a nice day.